DD2 drivers make their way out onto the circuit here at Muelsen. Let's have a look at the starting order for final number 1. So Matthias Lund starts on pole position alongside the reigning and defending champion Sander Schriblach. Comes into this round third in the point standings. Martin van Leuven took a race victory yesterday, putting himself third on the grid alongside Wubby, the flying Finn, Ville Villainen. Paolo Basonstenet and Florian Breitenbach round out row 3. The North-German row 4. Fabian Bock and Mika Metz on there. Peter Bezel, the points leader coming into this round, will have Max Fleischmann, who returns after a notable absence off of the racetrack, but still has been doing some spannering behind the scenes at points. They round out the top 10. Row 6 is Jakob Bezel and double duty driver this weekend, Florent Seifried. Hannes Bodder and Sebastian Janchevski round out the top 14 ahead of Robert Schopian, Leo Kirschenbauer, Ragnar Virus, Rasmus van der Bo, Mikkel Tigerson. Mark Bartels rounds out the top 20 with Leon Arndt, Johan Veen and Belgium's Maxime de Riche rounding out the 23-strong grid. So again, 14 minutes plus an additional lap still to go in this race. And after this one, we'll have 2 more. We'll have DD2 Masters and then Project E20. And for Project E20, no championship standings as of yet because this is the first round of 2. And it's one that I've been rather looking forward to. So, in 2 successive weekends with the DEKM and also this weekend, I've had a double electric delight, haven't I? But it's really good to have Project E20 with us for the final 2 rounds of the season. It gives other drivers an opportunity to win Grand Finals tickets. They have come from far and wide to compete here in Eastern Germany. So, Lund on pole, Schriblach alongside. They're keeping us waiting. That is slowed to an absolute crawl. Matthias Lund is just waiting for the right time. You'll see Sander Schriblach alongside. Now the revs start to increase. Revs rise and lights go out. They are off and racing as they head through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Van Leuven now chasing down Matthias Lund. There's the 2 FM racing drivers, Seifried and Fleischmann, looking to get a bit further up the order. They're just behind Fabian Bockers. Oh, we've had someone go up into the air onto 2 wheels. And that will be one of the Birlart Baltic karts. I would imagine that's going to be Johan Veen from Estonia. That basically did a Knight Rider ski mode there. And that was an unwanted assist, whoever did that. Van Leuven, who won the 3rd and final heat, and it was more than likely Johan Veen that had that incident. Matthias Lund leads after the first lap. Van Leuven in 2nd, Schriblach 3rd, Villainen in 4th, Basonstenet 5th, Breitenbach, Bock, Seifried now up into 8th as Schriblach being pressurised by Villainen as the Finn goes up the inside for 3rd place. Basonstenet closing in on Belgian. Schriblach goes to close the door, and then the old switcheroo attempt there from Basonstenet doesn't pay off, but it allows Florian Breitenbach, Fabian Bock, Laurent Seifried and Peter Bezel, with a few others maybe. Max Fleischmann rounds out the top 10. It was Johan Veen. I think that might have been a little bit of contact with Mark Bartels, possibly. Not 100% sure on that one. 12 minutes and 18 seconds plus an additional lap. Martin van Leuven leads the way. Ahead, Martin van Leuven hasn't yet led the way. He's actually still behind Matthias Lund. I nearly got ahead of myself there, but I actually did. But keep your eyes on Ville Villainen. Paolo Basonstenet has got past Sander Schriblach for 4th place. And Jakob Bezel, who started in 11th, he's now ahead of Max Fleischmann. Rounding out the top 15 and in the points is Estonia's Ragnar Virus. Mika Metz up into 14th behind Sebastian Janchevski. Janchevski started 14th, despite having started all 3 heats from pole position, following on from Friday's time qualifying antics. Top 3 cross the line now, and they are covered by just under 4.5 tenths. Lund still leads. Van Leuven, Besançon still ahead of Schriblach. Florian Breitenbach now closing in on the Belgian. Leo Kirschenbauer now drops to the back part of the field. Rasmus Vendelbo now also goes up into the top 15, remain 15th ahead of Tim Mika Metz in the 460. Sorry, Mika Metz in the 464. And remember that he had Mika Metz always used to have Tim in front of that name combination there. So 10 minutes and 50 plus an additional lap still to go, and the top 3 nigh on line astern. Can't really put anything between them at the moment, but Matthias Lund is holding on and giving himself the absolute best chance possible to score as many points, and this will help close the gap. Peder and Jakob Bezel now round out the top 9. They've gotten ahead of Fabian Bock, who's dropped to 10th place, now ahead of Max Fleischmann. And there is Schriblach, he's being pressurised. There's Florian Breitenbach, there's Lawrence Seyfried. And Besançon has dropped down the order ever so slightly, so Schriblach has gotten past. Oh, that was a drama there for Florian Breitenbach. He's not just lost 1 position, he's lost 4. Maybe nearly make that 5 if Fabian Bock got past, but then Max Fleischmann actually got past Fabian Bock in all the melee. That was very, very close there. Florian Breitenbach was absolutely determined to get past Anders Schriblach. They went into turn 4. All of a sudden the door opened because Lawrence Seyfried had a little bit of a touch on the left rear, sidewall to sidewall, but then that opened the proverbial floodgates. Besançon finds himself back up into 6th position behind Lawrence Seyfried. And again, the 18-year-old from Salzgitter has been doing a very good job. I still remember when he used to span through RS competition, and now he's back to racing, doing RMC Germany and also the Euro Trophy as well. FM Racing now working with Comp-Kart Germany. Oh, we've had dramas. Besançon has been spun around. I'm wondering, was that one of the bezels that was involved? I think it was Peder that was right up his back bumper. And now things are changing. Sebastian Janchevski now finds his way past. And that would have been Florian Breitenbach. And now the top 3. Well, that's close. 0.233 between them. And it was a clumsy mistake from Peter Bezel that spun Paolo Besançon around. He just went for the move, clashed with Besançon, and then all of a sudden, I'm just looking at it again, they came out of the chicane. As now Villiainen finds himself past Van Leuven, and it was just a case of the angle of approach. Yeah, I mean, it was the case that Besançon had the racing line. Bezel went up the inside. I will leave that one to race control, but that has compromised Besançon, and that has put him at the back end of the grid. So it's an RS competition 1-2 at the moment. Matthias Lund leading ahead of Finland's Ville Villiainen. Martin van Leuven keeping himself in contention as Villiainen goes up the inside of Lund through turn 2, blocks the opening. Nice and neatly there. More dramas for Florian Breitenbach, who finds himself out on the cusp of being outside of the points. He's in 15th at the moment, and he is just 9 tenths. Actually, make it just under 4 tenths. Ahead of Maxime Dervish, who started at the back part of the grid. And Leuven's got himself past Lund, but now Lund returns the favour through the penultimate right-hander. But going on to lap number 8, it's Ville Villiainen that leads the way. Matthias Lund, Martin van Leuven, Zona Schriblach. Good work by Lawrence Seyfried, who started down in 12th, now up into 7th. Jakob Bezel, Fabian Bock, Ragnar Virus, Peder Bezel, Rasmus Vendelbo. This title fight is very much split wide open because Matthias Lund is on course for 20 points. Minute. It's more a case of how much damage limitation can Peter Bezel exercise after that contact with Paolo Besancone. I don't think he's out of the woods with that one, but race control will decide. Jakob Bezel having a better time than Petter, but is being closed in on by the likes of Fabian Bock. Ragnar Virus, where has he sprung from? Ragnar Virus, 17th, now 9th place ahead of Rasmus van der Bo from Denmark, who started 18th. Hannes Border, Nico Metz. Besancone is still running in the 50.5s despite that issue, that contact earlier. Peter Bezel now holds the fastest lap of the race of 50.105. And gets the gap down to just over 4 tenths between himself and Ragnar Virus. Some other battling up and down the order. The likes of, I spy Robert Chorpian, who's got, more than likely, that's one of the Dorn Motorsport carts, probably more than likely Leon Arndt behind in the number 442. Just over 5 minutes and 20 still to go. Villainen now leads by 0.572 seconds. And Besancone has got himself past Johan Veen, so now the Frenchman's climb up the order. He's got probably about 6 minutes to get himself, to try and get himself as far up the order as he can. Now the good thing is the gaps between the drivers from 22nd up to around about 15th are 15th or 16th might be pretty achievable. We know how competitive Paolo Besancone is when he's fired up. Well, he was a bit fried when he had his vitamin D earlier on this weekend during free practice. So Mark Bartels started down in 20th, now finds himself in 16th. Hannes Border makes his way up into 13th place past Sebastian Janczewski, and just up ahead he's got Max Fleischmann. Janczewski trying to give chase. The Polish driver goes round towards the outside to get the cut back through into turn 4 and neatly exercises the manoeuvre. But here comes the revved up and fired up Florian Breitzenbach. He just went, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to send the damn thing and see what happens. When he got past these racings, oh, and there's been a tussle. That's not what we needed. And that was Leo Kirschenbauer turned around, and that would have been by Maxime Derich. That was coming out of the right hander there. Things got very close indeed. And Hannes Border, a little bit earlier, having gone through the chicane, said to Florian Breitenbach, what on earth was that? Oh, come on, man, you know. And Kirschenbauer just literally, I think Kirschenbauer made a rod for his own back, and looking back at what happened, he went up the inside of Nico Metz. It looks like he went up the inside of one of the Dorn Motorsport carts. That would have been Mark Bartels, and then all of a sudden Maxime Derich has got nowhere really to go. But that's another incident for, I would say, that race control need to have a look at. 3 minutes and 7 seconds still to go. Villainen leads. And looking at his points this season, I'm not too sure how... I'm just trying to remember off memory how Villainen is doing in the championship. Well, he's only 2 points behind Zander Schribbach, so things could be swinging in his favour. And to get 25 points, now looking at where things are at the moment, Schribbach is 4th, that's 13 points. Van Leuven is 3rd, that's 16 points. That'll put him on 51. Villainen, if he takes a victory, that is 63 points he'll have. Matthias Lund, 20, that puts him on 65. Then Peter Bezel. Peter Bezel will get 7 points. That means the gap will close to about 28. 7 points, so that will put him on 93. So yeah, Matthias Lund would be within 28 points going into the second final later on today. And that, for me, tells a little bit of a story, because if you are in the mid-pack and you have dramas, that can cause problems. And we have already seen that today for other drivers. Zana Shrivlak being hustled now by Lawrence Seyfried. Seyfried looking to get an opportunity to close in for what is fourth on the road. Calibre of Shrivlak, being the reigning and defending champion, obviously having switched teams. And I spoke to him back at Karting Genk at the first round of the season. He said, I'm really enjoying being in the awning at SP Motorsport. Well, that is a good thing to hear, but then you have things like this. Lawrence Seyfried's just basically saying, come on, look, I'm getting a bit quicker than you. We need to get away from the guy behind. And the guy behind is Jakob Bezel. That is not exactly what Lawrence Seyfried wants. So, final lap board is out. Vililainen leads the way going on to the 18th and final lap by just over 2.5 tenths of a second. But this battle here, Seyfried has lost out to Jakob Bezel going on to the final lap. Here's the top three. They were covered by just over 6 tenths of a second. And on to this 18th and final lap. But Vililainen brings himself into the title picture well and truly. Matthias Lund will close the gap on Peder Bezel, who will get 8 points, actually 9 points for this race. But Finland's Vililainen from RS Competition wins final one by 0.288 seconds ahead of Matthias Lund. Martin van Leuven rounds out the top three. Jakob Bezel in fourth. Lawrence Seyfried rounds out the top five ahead of Belgium's Zanda Shrivlak. Peder Bezel, Fabian Bock, Rasmus Vendelbo and Ragnar Virus round out the top 10 positions. Mika Metz from Germany, followed by three countrymen in the form of Florian Breitenbach, Max Fleischmann and Mark Bartels. They all score points and complete the top 14. And rounding out the points finishers, Colin Sebastian Janchevsky. Hannes Border in 16th, ahead of the recovering Paolo Bessonsonet in 17th. Robert Chopian, Lian Arndt, Mikkel Tigerson, Maxime Deriche, Johan Veen, and Leo Kerschenbauer rounded out the 23 strong. But Vililainen wins here in final one for DD2.